What's up guys, it's Zach here this week and welcome back to We Need to Talk, the show where we cover football on the internet over the past 7 days. And what a 7 days it's been. We've just seen Glenn Tamplin at it again. Two guys show that football should always be played outside. And Tom Davis and Dominic Calvert-Lewin getting ready for London Fashion Week.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
But anyway, this week we need to talk about Mauricio Pochettino. It's nearly been 3 months since Mauricio Pochettino was sacked by Tottenham Hotspur after 5 years at the club. The 47-year-old, who has the best win percentage of any Spurs manager to manage more than 80 games, was fired after only seeing his side win 3 matches in the Premier League from 12 games. He also oversaw their loss to Colchester United in the Carabao Cup and ultimately left the club 5 months after he managed them to their first ever Champions League final. Now, for many managers, this would be a great time to take a break. Pep Guardiola did so back in 2012. Allegri is currently enjoying a break, and we would have thought it would be Poch doing the same, but it looks like he's eager to get back to business. Now, he's constantly been saying how eager he is to return to football. Just 2 weeks after being given the boot from North London, Mauricio gave an interview back in Argentina where he said, "I expect to return to Europe to make decisions on my future. At my age, I don't need a lot of time to recover. I'm open to listen to projects put before me." Fast forward a few months and he's back at it again this week. Speaking with Natalie Pinkman on the In the Pink podcast, the Argentine had this to say.
I would love to work in the Premier League. It's true that it's going to be difficult, but now is a moment to wait, and because in football, it's always something can happen and you need to be ready.
So Poch wants back in the Premier League. Now that's not much of a surprise. Real Madrid don't need a manager with Zidane doing so well. PSG have Thomas Tuchel. Juve are after Pep, who's not leaving City for at least another year, which only leaves Bayern Munich, which would be a good choice. However, Bild report that the Bayern Munich hierarchy are actually going after Thomas Tuchel over Pochettino. The German has a very close relationship with the current caretaker manager, Hansi Flick, and are hoping the pair can be a coaching duo next season. So with most of Europe ruled out, there's only one destination Pochettino can go to: Manchester United. That's because all the other top 6 sides are happy with their manager, and even Leicester City are pretty happy with Brendan Rodgers, and it only leaves United unhappy with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The worry for the Norwegian is that he currently has the worst win ratio of any manager to succeed Sir Alex Ferguson, and he's only taken 4 points from possible 15 in 2020, not finding the net in his past 3 games. But there are some positives too. In the 19 meetings against the now top 7, including Leicester City, Ole has won 10, drawn 4, and lost just 5, which isn't too bad at all. Especially for a team that have suffered numerous injuries to their stars like Rashford and Pogba. And they're also going for a transition period. But you know who else is fantastic at managing a club for a transition period? So there are positives and there are also negatives of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's reign at United. And according to some reports, the wheels for Pochettino takeover are already in motion. And they've been in motion for some time now. The Manchester Evening News said back in December that Pochettino wants to become Manchester United's manager and actually wanted to take over when Mourinho left in December 2018. The issue then was Ole had won 14 out of 19 games and Daniel Levy prevented anything from happening. Now in January, just last month, The Independent reported that Man United's board members want the Argentinian sitting in the home dugout come the end of the season. Now we're in February and things look like they're in full motion, especially considering this week Pochettino was filmed at the Brentford v Leeds game earlier with Neil Ashton, the PR advisor to United's executive vice chairman, Ed Woodward. Now, if you don't know who Neil Ashton is, he's a former journalist who stepped down as the host of Sky Sports' Sunday supplement show at the turn of the year to start his own PR firm, who whose one major client is Manchester United. Now, this could be purely coincidental. Poch is good friends with Leeds' manager, Marcelo Bielsa. But this, plus the comments he's made, has got people thinking. It's also not the first time Poch has had a secret meeting with, according to The Athletic, a meeting between a senior United official and Pochettino took place off a junction off the M25 motorway, where they tested the waters to see whether Poch would want to move up north. And even back in 2016, Sir Alex Ferguson met up with Poch in a restaurant in London, not far from United's London offices. But at that moment, it was deemed as a public display of affection and appreciation, but maybe it was something more. And it's also not the first time Pochettino has been considered for the United job. Nearly a year ago, March 2019 to be exact, Spurs faced United at Wembley, where Ollie pulled off a 1-0 victory, earning him his permanent contract in Manchester. Essentially, it was a match to see who would get the job. But now Pochettino is basically pleading. He's saying to United, come and get me. Personally, if I was any of that United board, I'd be saying go and get the 47-year-old manager. He'd performed wonders at Spurs. If you can look at his first team compared to his end team, he did wonders. Plus, he took them over when they were very young. Harry Kane was 21, Eriksen was 23, and he made them into superstars. Imagine what he would do with Rashford, Martial, Daniel James. It'd be unbelievable. But that's just the thoughts of a guy from Football Daily. Let me know what you think in the comments below and vote in the poll, should they sign Mauricio Pochettino or should they keep by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? On to the good, the bad and the ugly now. We kick things off with a really feel-good story. Jensen, who played for Holton Borough Wolves under 7s, sadly lost his mum in the past week. But on match day, he played with a smile and got a man of the match in her memory. He's an absolute inspiration and his mum would be so proud. All of our condolences go to Jensen's family and hopefully we'll see him become a star on the football pitch in the future. The bad this week, and it's not necessarily the normal kind of bad, it's a little bit different. Listen to this headline. Angry mum rages after hackers buy 36,000 FIFA points with her credit card. Now, mum of 3, Leslie Irwin, claimed that hackers used her credit card to buy FIFA points, spending almost £240 on the game. Now, the really funny bit is the picture in this, where she's with one of her children, and social media has kind of said that it probably wasn't hackers. Instead, it might have been one of her sons. Look at the guilt on his face. Somehow, he's made his mum believe that it actually was hackers, and fair play to her, because she did eventually get her money back. He's pulled an absolute worldie here. Yeah, I've got nothing else to say. Fair play to him. And finally, the ugly. You must have been living under a rock if you did not see this earlier in the week. Kaka stepped foot onto a 7-a-side pitch in East London through Adidas's rent-a-pred scheme, and the opposition were not expecting it.
Nice to meet you. Huh?
Man, I've lived so many childhood dreams just now.
Random for Kaka to be in this part of London.
Now, unsurprisingly, Kaka absolutely destroyed the game. 2 goals and 2 assists. It was, quite frankly, ridiculous what he did. But the ugly here, again, isn't like normal. It's because he got absolutely turned over by this nutmeg. Take a look at this.
The ball was just there. It's insect, isn't it? It doesn't matter who it is. Happy to be Kaka. Got a nutmeg. It is what it is, man. Anyone can get it, you know?
Audacious scenes. However, that wasn't the only thing to happen in the game. Someone told the Champions League, World Cup and Ballon d'Or winner to cut it back. But he didn't do that. Instead, he did this.
That strike was very disrespectful.
So that's all we have time for on this week's We Need to Talk. I tell you who else would have told Kaka to cut back? Chris Hamill. He's done it before, he'll do it again. Anyway, if you want to see more Football Daily content, please click on screen right now. And as always, we'll see you next week. Bye. Oh yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe.